Just hand it off with one hand. That's the way. Here we go. You ready?
Oh, Gilmeister on the end of a special.
All you'll be doing is passing the ball in a figure eight around your legs, okay? So you'll be going around and around.
Sending Harrigan back into the traffic zone. He loses the ball.
And you'll run through the other end, just passing the ball around your waist, okay? Continuously around.
Centre three-quarter, Darren Smith.
It's just as well that Paul Harrigan isn't demonstrating any of his tackling or running skills to these school children. His job of development officer for the Newcastle Knights could become obsolete. Despite his fearsome on-field reputation, the 193-centimetre, 106-kilogram giant holds no fears for these students. The man everyone in Newcastle calls the Chief has been placed on a pedestal in this town.
He's a cult figure to the people of Newcastle, not just the young people who we visit in schools or are playing junior league. He's a cult figure to everyone because he's a bloke who's born and bred in the town. He's reached the highest level of his chosen sport.
Larger than life?
Oh, well, have a look at him. He's larger than life. Yeah, he's just a great guy to have around the place.
So these kids will go home tonight and talk about this for a long time?
They'll talk about this for the next month or so. Paul Harrigan's been here today.
Consider Harrigan's temperament and size, and the nickname borrowed from the movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest seems appropriate.
Very, very quiet bloke, didn't say nothing, had the long hair, and when I was a young bloke I didn't say boo, I just had long hair. I just liked playing football, and one of the blokes said, you remind me of the Chief at the Cuckoo's Nest, and it just stuck from there.
Rugby league front and second rowers are often portrayed as insensitive battering rams with nicknames like Cement, the Axe and the Brick. Harrigan was lucky to escape with the Chief. These big men are league's go-forwards. Where they make ground, the holes are narrowest, the impacts most severe. At 24, Paul Harrigan is now a seasoned member of a band who are continuously called on to make fine decisions that could seriously harm either themselves or their opposition.
You still feel that you want to win 3-0? Is that intensity there?
Yeah, mate. I tell you what, Phil Gill's real good at that. Where the 3-0, where he's more or less drumming on a bit, where we're going to create a bit of history, you know.
Harrigan can look forward to the next State of Origin encounter relatively unscathed. The Blues series deciding win was good for Harrigan. He actually remembers the game. He was conscious for the 80 minutes. Not like his debut last year. The Maroons' Trevor Gilmeister left him groggy after a couple of minutes.
Gets it on for Harrigan. Harrigan belted down with some big defence from Queensland.
Oh no, it made me sick actually. From then on, I've never watched any first 10 minutes of Port now or any representative game. It just seems to be the hardest, those 10 minutes.
So you'll turn on the TV set after the first quarter of an hour?
Gets through that, or my old auntie rings up, you can watch it now. She said it's still on.
Judy Harrigan has never taken to watching her son on the football field, but the granddaughter of a Welsh coal miner has had to battle a father-son nexus that's proved as dour as the working-class spirit that pervades Newcastle's lifeblood, its coalfields. Paul worked here at the end of the coal chain at the Kooragang coal loader. His father, Harold, was a miner.
We're down there by choice, but the money was good, the work was hard, and we like it.
Pretty tough.
Yeah.
And we sort of signify, I believe, the way that they feel. We go out and achieve. Every week we try our hardest and give our best without all the financial help that other cities or other clubs may have. And I think that, as I just said before, we just stand for what the people stand for.
Not that the mines, the Harrigan men and the game had it all on their own. When Paul was 16, his mother made him take a year off to try golf and tennis.
He said, it looks to me like he wants to tackle a tree, he said, instead of hit this golf ball. He said to me.
He demolished a few tees, a few fairways.
He said
was a baby elephant, mate.
And and the tennis player said, look, he's hitting that racket that hard. He said, I feel like he wants to tackle the net. And I didn't give in. And then the next year came and football season. Oh, no, it was terrible to live with him. So I went and got his boots and socks and said, off you go.
But father and son prevailed. When Paul was picked in a New South Wales under-12 side to tour Queensland, Harold was in hospital, recovering from a mining accident that left him with pins in his legs and ended his working life.
Dad's pretty proud now. Remember, you're a Harrigan son kind of thing, and he before I left to go to Queensland, which was a big thing when you're 11 or 12 going away for 3 weeks and getting billeted out. So it was a pretty big thing for me, and it was a special occasion.
In 1990, at 21, the Chief suffered his own devastating injury, a hamstring muscle torn so badly that he couldn't walk. But Dad found a hill. So you ran him up and down this hill?
Yeah, well, we started with a walk. We just walked him and walked forwards. We walked backwards, we walked sideways. And then as the weeks progressed, we got him into a very slow jog. When he was starting to fall a bit, or he was getting a bit down the dumps, I wouldn't say it was encouragement. I give him a bit of a workout, just to be, I suppose, hard to be nice. I suppose in one respect, that you can't give, and you just got to keep going.
Here's a good ball, and a good run by Big Harrigan. The Chief.
Back on the field, Paul was in full swing. The challenge was harnessing his power and enthusiasm. He was also coming to terms with a switch from playing centre in the back line to the forwards and the front row.
Where I was a tackler who was basically around the bootlaces all the time. When the era when I come through, it was like lift your gun sights for the ball and all tackle, or you're just not effective enough to play first grade. So continually trying to get the tackling technique correct, and it's kind of obvious that maybe that I might have got it wrong a little bit there.
Big hit here from the number 10, Paul Harrigan.
Queensland's Gary Larson was a victim of the Chiefs' learning process last year.
He's cactus.
Not long after, there was North's David Fairley.
Oh. Well, was it Paul Harrigan? Did clip him right across the nose.
It earned Harrigan a 4-week suspension. The game's pundit said he was out of control.
It got to one stage where it was quite bad. I thought, I may as well just be sitting up in the grandstand. Like, all I wanted to do was going for a good hard tackle, and I'm just coming up with hot water. What am I doing wrong, Obviously, not for a split second there hasn't been any intention, but it's just been one of those things.
So the Chief took to studying his mistakes on video.
When you've committed yourself to going for a tackle, and a good hard tackle, you want to go through the tackle. So unfortunately, when they'd go away, I'd still go through with it, and being so tall, I suppose, is another aspect that the room for, or the tolerance for error was small. But now I just take a couple extra steps towards the man to make sure that I'm still very upright until the last minute. Then I drop, so there's again the room for error is smaller. So I've just worked it out.
Are you worried about earning a reputation as a cheap shot merchant?
The main motive behind me for changing is that I want to succeed, and I have goals that I want to chase, and they're lifetime goals, and that was kind of getting in the way of them, and I had to do something drastic where the tackling style or any controversy was just not conducive. I didn't need it, so I was prepared to do anything required to make sure it didn't happen again.
Harrigan won his place in an Australian team last year against the English. Again, though, he hadn't quite perfected the line between aggression and transgression.
Lucas hit it up, shoulder charge over the top, cropped him high.
But perhaps more alarming than towing the tackling line is the Chiefs' need for self-preservation. In last year's first State of Origin, there was this. Then in the third game, out cold. In boxing, you'd have no chance of re-entering the ring, but the Chief came back.
They don't need to score points, they know that. A good ball up the middle, and here's Harrigan.
Did you maybe have a brain scan at all?
Oh yeah, I had a pretty bad knockdown when I first come back from injury. I was playing in a reserve grade match when I come back, and got knocked out of beauty, and my brain was quite swollen from that episode. But apart from that was easily the worst one I've ever had, but there's no problems.
This year the Chief has again seen stars. If you do this for a living, you may as well maximise your earnings. At the end of this year, Harrigan's contract with the Knights expires, and the next contract he signs, taking him through to age 27, will be vital. It could be worth as much as $200,000 a year. But will it be with the club he's grown up with?
I love Newcastle, I'm very loyal, and I can honestly say it would take a big opportunity or a fair bit of difference in money for him to leave. But saying that, at the end of the day, I think that you've got to be loyal to yourself, and it's a fairly stressful thing, I think, negotiating contracts and leaving, that kind of stuff.
But in the end, it's going to be pretty hard to say no to offers from clubs like Manly with a lot more money than this club.
Yeah, you're probably right. It'll probably be a one of the hardest decisions I suppose I'll ever make. Yeah.
But we'll find out at the end of the year.
True. Yeah.